Hey friends, welcome back to another Table Talk episode. Today, we're going to be diving into how to exactly stick to a schedule, especially when discipline feels impossible. I will be time blocking my entire day, testing how effective it really is, and showing you exactly how I structure my day-to-day routine. This is for all of my fellow creatives, freelancers, or remote workers, really anyone who has freedom over their day, but finds that freedom slightly overwhelming. Let's figure out how to actually get things done together. Let's be real, when you're working from home, time just becomes this abstract blur. You wake up, maybe scroll through your phone for 45 minutes, answer an email or two, do some laundry, and suddenly it's 4 p.m. and you haven't gotten any of the work that you actually wanted to get done. Why? Because when you don't have control over your time, then you'll start to be consumed by every little distraction. Especially for my neurodivergent baddies out there, we tend to get very easily distracted and our minds just constantly feel like they're on overdrive. I personally feel like I never have enough time in the day to get everything that I want to get done. Whether that's work-related things or even personal tasks, including doing chores around the house or even just taking care of myself in general. Sometimes there just isn't enough time in the day for that, and I would like to make time for that. So that's why I'm going to try time blocking. Time blocking helps you not only create structure, but also intention for your day. You're not just hoping that you'll be productive, you're deciding when and how it will happen. So what is time blocking? Time blocking is exactly what it sounds like. You block off chunks of your day for specific tasks, no multitasking, no jumping between tabs, just focusing on one task with no distractions within a certain amount of time. You can get super detailed with your schedule. For example, 10 to 10:30 a.m., you're answering admin emails. 10:30 to 12 p.m., you're having an editing session. 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., you're making yourself a nutritious lunch and taking a little break. 1 to 2:30 p.m. can be dedicated to filming, and then 2:30 to 3 p.m. can be another 30-minute break for yourself to just reset before diving back into work. Or you can keep it broader by adding projects by just vague task names. So for example, if you have a certain work project, you can list it as task 1. For a personal project or task, you can list it as personal task, and so on and so on. Just like the example here. The point is, no matter how you want to list or name your task, you are still assigning each of those tasks to certain time slots. This way, you actually ensure that you're actually getting stuff done throughout the day. Here's what I like to use to stick to a schedule. Starting off with my Google Calendar, all of my meetings automatically sync to my Google Calendar, and it's so nice just to have the reminder and have those times already set aside to meet with clients, with auditions, etc. Next, I like to use a physical planner to list out my to-do list. And finally, my saving grace, the iPhone focus mode. I like to use the specific work focus mode so that I still get emails, Google Calendar notifications, or Basecamp notifications, but I don't get any text message, calls, or most importantly, social media notifications. And the only calls that do come through are people listed on my emergency contact list. I also like to physically move my phone out of arm's reach because I'm someone who will be tempted to check my notifications all the time. Especially being a content creator, if I post something that day, it's really hard for me to not constantly check on the post and to see how it's performing. But regardless if you're a content creator or not, just place your phone away from you if you can, because it is something that will distract you throughout your workday. Now let's talk about what didn't work for me. I was trying to time block my day using Google Calendar or different time blocking apps, and that just did not work for me. Doing this ended up being counterproductive for me because each time I woke up later than I intended to, or missed a time block because of a distraction or something coming up, then I would mentally beat myself up. After missing a time slot, I wouldn't even want to look at my Google Calendar app or my time blocking app because looking at it honestly made me feel anxious, and then I would start to get overwhelmed just looking at all of the time slots that I still have yet to do but not enough time to do. So instead, I found that it was much easier for me to write my time block down using pencil and paper. This way, I could have the flexibility to erase and change anything if I did end up waking up later than intended that day, or if a certain task ended up taking longer than I expected it to. It was easier for me to kind of just rearrange the schedule as needed. This method of time blocking, for me personally, just works better because it was less overstimulating. I don't know how to describe that feeling, but if you also feel extremely overwhelmed with time blocking apps or digital planners, then I would just try to go back to the basics of pen and paper, baby. Can't go wrong with that. But I would like to make a disclaimer that just because digital planners didn't work for me doesn't mean that it won't work for you. Try different planning methods or techniques until you find something that works for you. And once you do, stick to it, because at the end of the day, it's whatever you feel the most comfortable doing. Let's be honest now. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything. You don't have to wake up at 6 a.m. just to be productive. If you're someone who likes to wake up at 10 a.m., then own that. Just don't get distracted from what you need to get done throughout your day. Here's my rule. When I wake up, the first thing that I have to do is make a plan for myself. I'll sit with my morning drink and my little planner, and I'll just write out my to-do list for the day to see what I need to prioritize that day. And I'll remind myself that if I do not create a structure for my day, then I will get distracted and I won't get as much work as I need to get done. A slow morning is completely fine, but an unplanned day will for sure set you back. 2 easy morning habits that you can start implementing in order to sustain your energy throughout the day include not having coffee first thing in the morning or on an empty stomach. Doing this sets your body and your brain into overdrive and leaves you crashing way sooner in the day than you would like to. Next is ensuring that you eat something before diving right into work. Even if it's something small like a bowl of cereal or a yogurt parfait or a granola bar, you want to put at least some nutrients into your body before putting caffeine into your system. This way, you ensure that your body has the natural energy that it needs instead of relying off of the scraps of energy from the day before. Once you have something in your stomach, then you can follow with your favorite coffee beverage or matcha. Here's what a time block day looked like for me. You'll notice that I didn't pack every single second with something to do. Instead, I built in time to relax, have my coffee, eat, and just shut off my brain for a few minutes. I also leave buffer zones at the start and end of each work block because some things always take way longer than we expect. And I've learned this through experience because I have definitely taken longer to film or batch shoot content than I originally planned to. You're also getting a little glimpse at my day in my life in this section between doing agency work, editing so many different long format and short format videos, a bunch of admin work for my own personal brand, and building my acting career. If you're interested in seeing more of a day in my life, then be sure to check out my digital diaries playlist after this video. So I literally was just talking about like changes and obstacles to your day, right? Well, a little change in my day did come up today, which is perfect because I literally discuss in this video and in my previous video that stuff like this happens and you just need to be able to pivot. So I'm now crossing out my agency work and replacing it with this because I need to memorize some sides for a project. So I'm gonna spend the next like 20 minutes doing this up until a meeting that I have at 4, and then I'm gonna review this in my meeting and then continue on with the time blocking as usual. I don't even know if I'm gonna put this spoken segment in. I don't know, I just felt the need to sit down and talk about this change, but yeah, let's get to work. Let's get to work. Let's talk about the reality of things, because even with the best planning, obstacles or distractions in your day can still arise. You might have a family emergency, an unexpected plan might come up, or you might have just been caught doom scrolling way longer than you thought you were. But that doesn't mean you failed. When I find stuff like that happening, I just try to readjust my schedule accordingly instead of completely abandoning ship. If I end up missing a block or a few blocks, I just ask myself, what is the one last thing that I need to get done today in order to feel accomplished and proud of myself? And then I do it. And remember, you should never sacrifice self-care or getting rest throughout the day, because self-care is also a part of productivity. Remember, perfection isn't the goal, but progress is. If you're struggling to stick to a schedule, please know that you are not lazy. Just think of the act of discipline as a muscle that you need to continuously build and work on. And the way you can do that is through small, intentional decisions through your day-to-day life. I would say that time blocking has definitely helped me focus better on individual tasks throughout my day and build overall more structure to my routine. And also, removing distractions, like literally tossing my phone across the room, is what helps me follow through on getting shit done. If you want to change how your days feel, then start with this one thing. Block off your time before your day even begins. Decide who you want to be that day and act like that person. Like, if I'm manifesting being a YouTuber with over 100,000 subscribers, then I'm going to act like a YouTuber who has over 100,000 subscribers. And I'm going to do what I need to get done that day in order to achieve my goal. And remember, the most successful people aren't always the smartest or most talented. They're just more organized and determined to continuously show up for themselves. If you liked this episode, then be sure to give this video a thumbs up and comment your #1 productivity tip in the comments below. Please, I feel like we could all use some productivity tips in this community. Don't forget to subscribe for more Table Talk episodes. And if you want to see a full video on how I plan content throughout the week, then be sure to stay until the end card. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye!